Unplugged, here we go. Woody and the crew, exclusive interview. Welcome to the show, let's have some fun. Sweep Unplugged starts now.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It is Sweep Unplugged on Sweep the League, on Sweep the League TV specifically. So first and foremost, it's Friday. You know how we do on Fridays, man. It's happy hour, happy day, happy night. Guess what? It's almost time for you to enjoy the weekend. So we have a treat for y'all. We have a special guest today, writer, author, and musician from California. He's going to share with us some football knowledge, history on Pittsburgh. And if you know the amazing Steelers, I think you might want to tune in for this show. All the fans for Pittsburgh, we're going to have some fun. He has a book, Immaculate, How the Steelers Saved Pittsburgh. But, man, he has an amazing storyline. I first want to say thank you to you, Ray, taking time to be on this segment, man. How you doing, first of all?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you. Totally stoked about being on Sweep the League, man. So thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So we'll go ahead and get right into the top, man. Before we talk a bit about the history of NFL and maybe comparison to today's game and how we look at it from a fan base, kind of share real quick, plug yourself of your book, Immaculate, How the Steelers Saved Pittsburgh, and then we'll kind of jump from there, man.
Yeah, then the book, Immaculate, How the Steelers Saved Pittsburgh, you know, it's co-written by me and my good friend Tom Olenek. Tom Olenek is the Yinzer of the two of us. He's the guy from Pittsburgh. He's the diehard Steelers fan. Shoot, man, when I was growing up in the 70s, I was a Cowboys fan. So the 12-year-old Ray would have a hard time knowing that the 50-some-odd-year-old Ray helped write a book about the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's for sure. Yeah, you know, it's a story about, you know, just when Pittsburgh was facing a deindustrialization transformation, the domestic steel industry was just, you know, going downhill fast. And so much of the Pittsburgh economy was built around the steel industry. Things were tough there and they needed their heroes. And they found their heroes playing football over at Three River Stadium. And they weren't exactly heroes for, you know, for the longest period of time. From, you know, their founding in 1933 to 1972, they were pretty poor football team. Mediocre would be saying you put them at the highest level you possibly could. But then everything changed in 1972. All of a sudden, they were a very good football team. They were the NFL's first, you know, dynasty in the Super Bowl era, 4 Super Bowl championships in 6 years, from 74 through, you know, the 1980 Super Bowl. You know, the story is just kind of weaves those stories around about how when Pittsburgh needed its heroes, it found them in the football team, in its football team. And what was really cool about it, Shmai, was that, you know, we watched a ton of football games. Thank goodness there's YouTube out there. And you have all these great football games with these great players. And for a guy like me who's 60 years old now, you know, it's even the great announcers, man. You got to listen to Howard Cosell. You know, you gotta listen to Kurt Gowdy and Dandy Don Meredith and announcers like that. It's so fun going back and watching those football games and getting and remembering some of these great players that I think we tend to forget about as we just continue with the next new season of football and so on, and all these new superstars that come about. It's revisiting that, and then also just seeing how the game has changed over the years. You know, it's well, you know, in some respects it looks the same. You got players with helmets and shoulder pads and the like. You know, the game is much, much different. And watching those great games from the 70s, early 80s, it's interesting to see, you know, how, you know, what has changed.
What I love about sports, man, it really brings fans together. And even if you are a fan of a specific team, we all know when it gets close to the Super Bowl, sooner or later you're going to be on the bandwagon because everyone's going to watch the Super Bowl game at least. So if your team don't make it, it's always something that we tend to do. We want to cheer on somebody who we think might win. When you look at how, Super Bowl is getting close. We all know it's going to be in February, but what do you do? Do you stay loyal to your favorite teams, or when it comes to the Super Bowl game, do you jump the bandwagon as well and find a team that you think you would like to cheer on?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting in the world of outside of North America, where football means soccer, in the international world of football, you know, they talk about neutrals, where, you know, it's like, yeah, you're watching a match, but you don't really care who wins. I don't know if we're like that in the United States with the NFL. I mean, our team might not be playing in the game, but we very quickly decide who we want to win, right? And you cheer for it, right? And so I'm a fan of the Seahawks. And the Seahawks probably are not going to make the Super Bowl. But when the Super Bowl comes around, I'll be cheering for somebody. I want somebody to win. Every game I watch on TV, I never find myself as a neutral, thinking, well, I'm just going to sit back and just enjoy this great game. I'm cheering for somebody within the first couple of plays. Even if I don't go into a game, I care less. If Atlanta's playing Carolina, but man, when I sit down there and watch Atlanta, Carolina, right away I'll be going, you know what? I think I'm cheering for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons today. So yeah, although when I do watch, since I am a Seahawks fan, when I do watch, football, when there's Western Conference or Western Division teams in the NFC playing, I hope that they lose. I typically cheer because every loss for them is a win for the Seahawks, right?
Yeah. No, I love that because when you think about how the game has changed over the years, specifically think about the Steelers, what do you appreciate just seeing how the players, looking at the different, positions, running back, quarterback, everybody's touchy with the quarterback. I mean, they get a lot of heat, but as you see how football has developed over the years, what excites you the most about the talent level and maybe just like the historic background, how we all kind of come from that base, that foundation?
Yeah, actually the thing that I like, I admire the quarterback play today, but one of the things that I miss is the running back play and the running emphasis on the running game from 50 years ago.
Yeah.
In 1978, the NFL instituted the illegal contact penalty, where defensive backs could only really touch a receiver for the first 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and then after that, hands off. And that really opened up the passing game. When you look at the Steelers, legendary Hall of Famer quarterback Terry Bradshaw, he completed just over 52% of his passes over his career. 52%. And in today's football, if you complete 52% of your passes, you probably can't play for your high school football team, much less play professional football. So that 1 5-yard illegal contact rule changed everything. Way back before 1978, quarterbacks had to actually have eye contact on their wideout because they never knew where they were going to be. In today's NFL, you can go through your progressions, go from one progression to the second, to the third, perhaps. When the pocket gets collapsed on you, you can always throw it to an area where your player is going to be there because you can trust in them to be there because they haven't been molested off the line of scrimmage. That rule was first implemented in 1978, was called the Mel Blount rule. And that was for number 47, Mel Blount, the Hall of Fame cornerback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who is still the prototypical cornerback for today's NFL. Tall, rangy, with a lot of speed to be able to cover, and a willingness to tackle. And when he got there with some pretty mean intentions too. The guy he's still the person that he was. Richard Sherman 50 years before Richard Sherman, right? And so, I admire the passing game today, but geez, all the rules are in their favor. When you compare quarterbacks from today's era to, quarterbacks from previous years, you can't fall on top of a quarterback today. Back in the 1970s and 1980s, even the 1990s, quarterbacks were just other players on the football team. You could hit them high, you could hit them low, hit them in the head, hit them in the knees, what have you. Today it's the nothing the passer call, that roughing the passer call where you can't hit them high, can't hit them low, and you can't even fall on top of them. Quarterbacks have it good today, and I hope they appreciate it. I know it's still a tough position to play, and all the attention's on you, but it's a tough position to play. And then, thinking back to that running game, back in the day, coaches used to play callers used to be the quarterbacks. Terry Bradshaw called his own plays, but they ran the football, emphasis on field position, keeping the ball away from the opposing team, getting first downs, grinding it out. And one of my pet peeves today is, offensive play callers who fall in love with their play sheets. They've got a giant laminated, double-sided, thing. They've already game planned out 100 plays or more for the game when they know they can only run 70 of them. They've practiced them and all. it wasn't that long ago. Dallas Cowboys won Super Bowls in the 90s with Norv Turner as their offensive coordinator. And they had a simple philosophy. And that was, we're going to run a play. And if it's successful, we're going to keep running that play until you can prove that your defense can stop that play. They may have only run, a dozen plays the whole game. I mean, they ran each play 5 or 6 times each. But if you couldn't stop them, why would they go to something different? I think today there's this, let's fall in love with our play sheet. We got to do all these fancy things. If you just rush the ball for 5 yards on first down, that's a pretty good thing. If the defense is giving you that look, why don't you keep running the football? And I think this year we're beginning to see that, right? And in the NFL, you're seeing teams play with, 2 safeties deep, wanting to prevent the big play. You've got defensive ends that are focused on rushing the passer, and they're in the D gaps way out on the outside. So in a way, and you got a couple of cornerbacks because of 10 years of drafting cornerbacks that can cover, run a 4-4 backwards, but they aren't exactly eager tacklers. Now you're seeing teams, like the Baltimore Ravens, good example. Let's run Derrick Henry at these people all day long, see what happens, because we know come third, fourth quarter, we're going to wear them out, because essentially we're playing 10 on 8 football with deep safeties, wide defensive ends who really can't play the run if it's inside the tackles. So it's interesting how the game is changing, but like fashion, it maybe what goes away comes back, right? And an emphasis this year on running the football.
Well, once again, you're watching Sweep Unplugged on Sweep the League TV. Big shout out to Rudy, the founder. Big shout out to Coach Gio, and also UTSA Hall of Famer Derek Gervin himself. You can catch them live every week, Monday through Friday. And man, their schedule's busy, man. So sometimes you might get a rerun, but every now and then they try their very best to be on Monday through Friday. So make sure you watch them tonight, because I heard from a little bird that they should be going tonight, and I think they'll be on. So y'all watch out for that, 9 p.m. Central Time. We are talking to our guest, Ray Hartjen. Go to his website, rayhartjen.com. And not switching topics completely, but in sports, we always, setbacks with injuries, and players have to, have that mental toughness, especially when they face adversity. You yourself, you have faced your own unique adversity with your health back in 2019, I believe. I was reading from your bio. You don't have to go into extreme detail, but kind of touch on the perspective of, life. When it happens, you still have a chance, though, to respond a certain way. And how did you get through those tough seasons in your life?
Yeah, man, and it's still going on. What you're referencing is my diagnosis with multiple myeloma. For those of you who aren't familiar with multiple myeloma, don't feel bad about it. I wasn't familiar with it until I got diagnosed with it myself. It's a blood cancer. It's an incurable blood cancer, but treatable and manageable. So I had a stem cell transplant, and a little over 5 years ago, and continue to have maintenance therapy. I had chemotherapy just this last Wednesday, 2 days ago. Plugging away. But one of the things that I like to share with people, I actually wrote a book about it. It's called Me, Myself, and My Multiple Myeloma. It's a fundraiser for the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. What I like to do and share with that is that, when life throws you your challenges, don't forget to look at it with a growth mindset. And it's something that we all did as children, right? We had this wonderment with learning. We didn't know we were learning, but we approached everything with a beginner's attitude and soaked into learning. Then all of a sudden, in our teenage years or whatever, we knew it all, and we kind of forget about learning, cancer has taken some things away from me, but it's also added so much more too, right? And it's with a growth mindset, I've developed new roles. I'm now a cancer patient advocate, a caregiver advocate, a fundraiser, and the like. And I had all the same roles I had before. But now there's also a sense of urgency for me to do things like write books. Since my diagnosis, I've written 4 books. My 4th book is coming out in May. It's about the Indianapolis 500. It's called the Indy 500, a year-long quest to win the greatest spectacle in racing. All these things that I've been doing kind of come from wanting to put a motto on the back of a band T-shirt. Whenever we play gigs, you always want to make a little extra money, right? So I'm always on the look for a little motto to put in the back of a shirt. Cancer gave me, if not now, when. That's how we got the Immaculate book written. So, I went to my buddy who had talked about this for so many years. I said, Tom, if not now, when? Let's get started. What's the worst that can happen, right? And that motto, if not now, when, has led to Punch Today in the Face. Shemaiah, man, I want to go to bed today knowing that I gave it my best today. Today is a gift. We don't all get this gift. There's people out there that were here yesterday, not here today. They did not receive today as a gift. So how do we honor them? How do we honor the day? How do we honor ourselves? Let's use it up, right? And then we're laying in bed tonight, kind of falling asleep. We can give a nod toward tomorrow and say, coming for you next. But thanks for asking. It's doing parallels with sports. A chronic injury or a chronic disease or what have you with an injury. Yeah, so there's different ways that you can approach it. Choose your attitude. Let's go forward, right?
Man, that's why we are doing this segment, Sweep Unplugged. Life stories like that is more than sports. It's family, it's friends, it's stories, it's life in general. So first and foremost, been talking to our guest today, Ray Hartjen. You go to his website, Ray Hartjen. You can get his books on that website. And congratulations on your new recent book that is coming soon. Might have to have you on once it comes out so we can kind of get the scoop on that project.
Oh, it's
before we let you go,
I've been wanting to do it for a long time, so I'd love to come back and talk to you about it.
Before we let you go, for our viewing audience, kind of share anything else that we might miss, any updates, or what's the best way that they can contact you online if they want to just reach out?
Yeah, I'm available on all the social networking platforms with my name, Ray Hartjen, Hartjen, except for TikTok. TikTok, I'm Ray Hartjen 5, I think. I think, Shemaiah, when I was signing up, I might have pushed an extra number there or something like that. Also, my email is rayhartjen@gmail.com. If anybody wants to reach out to me, particularly if you are a cancer patient or somebody who's going through a tough time with cancer, I would be happy to listen to you, hear about it, and understand your story. We're all in this together, Shemaiah, and none of us getting out of it alive. So, what can we do about, locking arms with each other, not standing behind somebody as they go into a fight, stand right along beside them as they go into the fight, because that's what makes a difference.
That's a perfect thought to get ready for the weekend. And I have to ask real fast, when you think about the games that are it's getting kind of hot, man, the season. This is the time where people start saying, okay, who's going to get to the Super Bowl? Who are you watching? I know you say your team you like, but who are you watching thinking will have a good chance to get to the Super Bowl or hope?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it when as the season gets a little further down the line. Baltimore's lost a couple in the AFC has lost a couple of games, but I love watching them play, and I love watching the Bills play, and the Chiefs are always good. Don't sleep on the Chargers. They have a chance to maybe make some noise. NFC, I still don't believe that the San Francisco 49ers, by the time we're doing this episode, they're 5-5. I don't really believe that, so, I'm like, well, that's still a lot of talent on that football team, but the Lions are so fun to watch, right? And they are playing so well, and if they can stay healthy, man, can you just imagine, a deep run in the playoffs like last year, but maybe even getting further. Lions, maybe like the Lions and the Bills in the Super Bowl or something like that. Ooh. That'd be awesome. So it's Lions and the Ravens, Lions and the Chiefs, Lions and anybody. The Lions, all those Detroit Lion fans, man, they've been suffering for a long time. Let's get them a Super Bowl.
I'll say this, man. I'm gonna let Derek and Coach G and Rudy do the expertise and analysis because I'm the producer guy. But I love watching the game, and yes, I'm gonna be biased. I'm hoping that whatever is meant to be, I hope the Lions go after that, man, because I'm loving what I'm seeing, and this is the way I see it. If the Lions are blessed to get that far, it's not gonna be easy, but if they can, not only is that gonna be exciting, but just maybe we might see the Cowboys get inspired and the shift will turn in their favor from, hey, it ain't gonna be bad all the time. So how about them boys? I'm not a big Cowboy fan, but I'm in Texas, man. If you're in Texas, it's hard to not like the Cowboys, man. So I would say this: if Detroit goes far, it might be some light at the end of the tunnel for the Cowboys because they can I'm not saying soon, but I'm just saying eventually they might get their chance
You
and
know, the
time to redeem themselves.
Lions have never even played in the Super Bowl, you know, and that's one of the things, you know, the topics that we talk about in the book, the
Yeah.
Immaculate book, is that, Pittsburgh has come out of their deindustrialization transformation smelling like a rose. They are a new economy success story. You know, and there's other cities, Rust Belt cousins of Pittsburgh, like Detroit and Cleveland and others, that are still struggling with their, new identity in the new economy. And Tom's thesis all along was the difference was, the Steelers and the heroes that they had, back in the collapse of the automobile industry, domestic automobile industry. The heroes, weren't the Lions. They might have been the Pistons, which was one heck of a good basketball team for a really long period of time. But yeah, let's see. The Lions are so fun to watch these days, man. It's a good time to be a Lion fan. So yeah, good for them. They've been suffering for a while, right? So
It's about that time, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing, even with the adversity that they're facing with injuries. They still find a way to win games, which is like, wow, this is like a special moment where you can kind of see like, yo, there's some magic in the air. They might be on to something this time, and we'll see. I don't like making bold predictions because you say something crazy and then all of a sudden, oops, it ain't happening. So I must just say, yeah, I hope they go pretty far.
yeah,
And
I didn't hear any bold predictions from you. I mean, maybe the bold predictions might have come from me, but you're innocent on this one, man. You're covered.
so once again, man, you're watching Sweep Unplugged with Sweep Delete TV. Make sure you watch the man himself, the founder, Rudy Campos Jr., doing his thing every night, Monday through Friday. We got big events that we're going to be doing. A lot of stuff about the plan for 2025. I'm telling you, he's just killing it. And Coach Gio and Derek Gervin as well, Hall of Famer. UTSA Hall of Famer, Derek Gervin. We've been told we must put that line in there now. We can't just say Derek Gervin. But big shout out to everything that they're doing. Also, big shout out to our guest, Ray Hartjen. Would love to have you on in the future. You've been watching Sweep Unplugged. Tune in next time because we have much more